You ever have a moment where someone says something small, but it lands big? Not big enough to call a meeting about. Not big enough for HR to see it clearly. But big enough to make you second guess your voice, your tone, your confidence, your right to be in the room. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Because I posted about microaggressions as an African American woman, and I want to say this: subtle disrespect is still disrespect. And I'm not shrinking to make anybody else feel comfortable. Welcome back to Ways of Change. I'm Vanessa, and this is day 62 of my overseas job hunt and my midlife reinvention journey. Today is going to be part real talk, part healing, and part training. By the end of this video, you'll have a spiritual anchor to steady you when the moment is too loud, a nervous system reset you can use immediately after an encounter, and a mindset framework so microaggressions don't hijack your confidence for the rest of the day. Because let me be clear, you can be both kind and clear, peaceful and powerful, soft and not to be played with. Let's start with my job hunt update. So, quick update. No applications were submitted today, and sometimes that's the reality. Some days are about building, some days are about recovering, some days are about staying consistent without forcing productivity. But I did complete my engagement hour, liking, commenting, and sharing. And listen, that's important too. Don't negate that fact, especially when you're building visibility and community while you're trying to pivot into something bigger. Because I'm not just job hunting, I'm building a digital footprint, a voice, a brand, and a life. And speaking of voice, let's talk about what happens when the world tries to edit yours. So today on LinkedIn, I wrote a post about microaggressions as an African American woman. And I want to be careful here because this is one of those topics where people love to say, "Are you sure that's what they meant? Maybe you're just overreacting. Maybe you're just too sensitive. Just ignore it." But here's the thing. Microaggressions are death by 1,000 cuts. They're the little comments, the subtle assumptions, the tone, the compliments that aren't really compliments, the surprise that you're articulate, the over-explaining, the interruptions, the way your competence is questioned while someone else's is assumed. And if you've lived it, you don't need a dissertation to recognize it. Your nervous system recognizes it before your mind even finished the sentence. And what makes this so exhausting is not just the moment, it's the math your brain has to do right after. Oh my gosh, should I speak up? Is this safe? If I respond, will I be labeled? If I don't respond, will I carry this all day long? That's not weakness. That's survival intelligence. So here are a few more of these microaggressions. If you're not familiar with them, be grateful. But when someone speaks to you like you're new, but you've been doing this for years, when you're the only one and suddenly you become the spokesperson, when feedback feels less like coaching and more like correction in a way it doesn't for others. How about when your calm is called cold, but someone else's call is called professional? Now, let me tell you what I'm learning at this tender age of 58. So you don't have to carry it all in silence to prove you're strong. When stuff like this happens, I need something sturdier than my feelings, because my feelings are real, but they're not always stable in the heat of the moment. So here's today's spiritual anchor, Isaiah 41:10. This is the NIV version. So do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Now that scripture doesn't say nothing will bother you. It says you won't be held alone. And when microaggressions happen, what they're really trying to do is shake your internal knowing. They want you to doubt yourself, to shrink, to start managing people's comfort. But Isaiah 41:10 is basically God saying, I'm not asking you to hold yourself up. I'm holding you up. So if you're watching this and you've been trying to prove your worth in rooms that keep moving the goalpost, y'all know how they do. Listen to me. You don't need their permission to belong. And now, because we know the body keeps receipts, we're going to do a nervous system reset. You could use the moment you feel that in your chest. We're going to do the name and neutralize regulation. All right? Do this with me. If you're driving, keep your eyes open and just follow with the breathing part. You don't want to have any accidents. First, we're going to inhale. And an exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Another inhale. Exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Hand to the chest or wherever you feel the tension and quietly say, this is my body trying to protect me. And then we want to orient to safety. You want to look around and name 5 neutral things you see. A window, a lamp, a blue cup, a door, a plant. Neutral, not emotional. This tells your brain, I am here and I'm safe right now. Now we're going to do 2 rounds of 4-6 breathing. We've done this before. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. And we're going to seal this with a sentence. I could be calm and still be clear. I could be calm and still be clear. And then we're going to return back to our... That reset is not about pretending it didn't happen. It's about stopping the moment from owning the next 4 hours of your day. Now let's train the mindset, because regulation calms the body, but mindset protects the story you tell yourself afterwards. So here's the mindset shift that's been saving me. Microaggressions are information, not identity. They're data about the environment, not a verdict about you. Because the danger is this: the moment happens, and then you go home and you replay it. And now you're negotiating with your confidence. So here are 3 mindset tools I use. And I'm going to let you borrow them. Number 1, label it cleanly, no spiraling. Instead of what's wrong with me, say, that was a microaggression, that was minimizing, that was dismissive. Clear labels reduce confusion. Secondly, choose your response lane, now, later, or never. You don't owe everyone a live performance of your self-respect. You don't. Now, you could say, what do you mean by that? Curious and calm. Or later, I've been thinking about what you said earlier. And then never. You decide they don't get access to you anymore. Power is by having options. And third, protect your self-definition. Ask yourself, what do I know to be true about me? What have I survived? What have I built? What do I have receipts for? Then say it plainly. I am competent. I am qualified. I am allowed to take up space. And if you're like me, still working, still building, still job hunting, still showing up online, please understand this. The most radical thing you could do in this season is remain consistent without hardening. Let's bring this home, because I want to leave you with this episode feeling steadier than when you came in. Let's take a breath and go a little deeper with this, because this is the part I wish someone had set me down and told me without judging me, without rushing me, without making me feel like I was late to the party. Here's what I wish I knew earlier. Boundaries are not attitude. Boundaries are not you being hard. Boundaries are not you being difficult. Boundaries are not you being too sensitive. Boundaries are instructions for how to love you, respect you, and access you. That's it. And when you grow up or you work in environments where you've been rewarded for being easy, for being low maintenance, for being the one who could take it, you start to confuse endurance with strength. I used to think being strong meant not reacting, not needing anything, swallowing my feelings, staying professional no matter what, making everybody else comfortable. But the truth is, that's not strength. That's self-abandonment with good posture. Somebody needed to hear that. I wish I knew that my body tells the truth first. I used to override my body. That tight chest, that lump in my throat, that clenched jaw, that feeling that my spirit just got shush. I would talk myself out of it. Oh, it's fine. I'm sure they didn't mean that. Don't make it a big deal. But your body is a messenger. So now when my body reacts, I don't shame it. I listen. I say, something in me just got uncomfortable. Let me pay attention. Because boundaries start in your body before they ever come out of your mouth. I wish I knew that access is earned, not owed. Let's be real here. Some people feel entitled to you. Your time, your energy, your emotional labor, your explanations, especially when you're the capable one, the strong one, the reliable one. But I wish I knew earlier that being helpful isn't the same thing as being available. You can love people and still say, I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. I don't have the bandwidth for that. I can't take that on. I'm going to pass. And you don't need a 10-paragraph explanation. You don't. I wish I knew that clarity is kinder than resentment. I used to avoid setting boundaries because I didn't want conflict. I didn't. So I stayed quiet and then get resentful. That ever happened to you? And then distance myself. I did that too. And then people would be confused, like, what happened? What happened is I didn't tell the truth soon enough. Now I understand. It's kinder to be clear early than to be cold later. A boundary doesn't have to be mean. It could be calm. It could be respectful. It could be one sentence. I wish I knew I didn't have to attend every invitation to dysfunction. This one changed my whole life, y'all. Just because someone brings you mess doesn't mean you have to pick it up. Just because someone speaks from their wounded place doesn't mean you have to bleed with them. Sometimes your boundary is not a speech. Sometimes your boundary is a pause, a quiet redirect, and a subject change, a decision to stop over-explaining, a decision to stop being the understanding one at your expense. And yeah, sometimes your boundary is distance, not dramatic, not petty, just distant, wise. And then I wish I knew that boundaries protect my peace, not my pride. When people hear boundaries, they think it's about control or punishment or ego. But my boundaries aren't about power over people. They're about stewardship over my peace. Because peace is not something I stumble into. Peace is something I practice. Peace is something I protect. And when you're in transition, job hunting, starting over, reinventing your life, your peace becomes even more important, even more precious, because you need your energy for the future you're building. So when it comes to microaggressions, boundaries don't always look like confrontation. Sometimes boundaries look like you deciding, I won't laugh to make this less awkward. I won't explain my existence. I won't audition for basic respect. I won't carry the shame. Sometimes the boundary is internal. That's about them, not me. And sometimes the boundary is spoken. I want to address what you just said. Either way, you're choosing yourself. So yeah, I wish I knew earlier that boundaries weren't a wall. They're a door. And the door is not locked. But it does have a handle. And I decide who gets to turn it. All right, so today, day 62, no applications were submitted. Engagement hour was done. And I chose to use my voice about microaggressions because silence doesn't protect us. Clarity does. If you've been dealing with subtle disrespect, coded language, or environments that keep asking you to prove what you already are, I want you to remember Isaiah 41:10. You are not holding yourself up alone. And if this episode helped you, please do 3 things. Like this video, it helps more than you think. Subscribe to the channel if you're walking through a pivot of any kind. And comment 1 word, steady. Because that's what we're practicing. Not perfection, not performance, steady. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow for day 63. I'm Vanessa, and this is Waves of Change. Until then, keep going, keep breathing, keep trusting. Bye.